What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Cotton coming at you with another game called Silence Under the Dome. It is a this is a visual novel based on I'm gonna go to slow. You could actually skip this game and get the platinum in 5 minutes or less. I'm gonna do the long way and play all of it and listen to all of it. Hope you drop a view, help out with some watch time hours, drop a like, subscribe if you'd like. I'll catch you at the end. Let's get started.
After a nuclear detonation on planet Earth, only two isolated colonies remain alive: the scientific, medical, and the military anomalous stations, both of which had been preemptively sheltered under protective domes. They were established in advance to preserve science and ensure the safety of what little remained of humankind, now standing at the brink of extinction. Despite limited resources, both stations, located in different corners of the planet, care for the colonists who have become the last hope for Earth's revival. Dome B became a new home after dozens of nuclear strikes ravaged the planet Earth. Not everyone survived, but I was one of the lucky ones. Beneath the massive dome made of titanium and polyceramic glass, the entire world is now sealed in. Each day, we gaze beyond its boundaries at a dead planet scorched by radiation, where no normal life can survive. These are the grim realities we witness through the thick glass, day after day, without understanding what we did to deserve this. My friends and I were among the first to arrive here a week before humanity was wiped out. Day by day, the number of people in the colony grew as families arrived together. Unfortunately, the dome couldn't accommodate everyone who wished to survive. When the space ran out, people began to claw their way in, but they weren't allowed. Some cried, others pleaded, and some offered money, but nothing worked, and we, the inhabitants of the dome, could only watch. Sadly, we were powerless to help. The dome is a place of strict control. Inside, everything is divided into sectors, each harshly regulated by the council. Each colonist lives in a compartmentalized block. There are 3 types: male, female, and family blocks. Rows of beds, each with a small nightstand for personal belongings, though we were only allowed to bring the bare minimum. Everyone in the colony is assigned a professional role. Scientists analyze the surrounding world, study the effects of isolation on humans, and search for ways to restore the Earth and eventually leave the dome. Medics oversee the health of the colonists and monitor any changes. Agritechs responsible for food cultivation. Purifiers maintain air and water filtration and handle food processing. All other support staff handle food production, cleaning, construction, and childcare. I remember that day, the day of the strike, every single day. In an instant, everything around us ignited. Buildings and infrastructure exploded and collapsed. A blinding flash, we had been prepared for it, so our eyes were closed. When we finally opened them, for a long time, all we could see was a column of dust and radioactive fallout, nothing else. The first day after the nuclear detonation began with a gathering led by the council. We were summoned to the main hall beneath the dome, a well-lit chamber located at the heart of the dome. with tiered semicircular seating resembling a theater. Opposite us stood a raised platform with a table, behind which sat Captain Harry. The walls and ceiling were lined with pipes, wires, ventilation ducts, and surveillance cameras. O'Hara, a broad-shouldered, gray-haired man in military uniform, stepped forward silently. With a stern gaze, he looked over us, sat behind the large table, and spoke. "Your survival depends on your discipline. We have enough food and water for approximately 5 months. The distribution of existing supplies is strictly regulated per colonist, no exceptions. During this time, our objective is to increase our reserves. Let me be clear, this will not be easy. Food, water, and air must undergo proper filtration." One of the colonists, unable to wait for Harry to finish his speech, shouted from the crowd. "What if we fail to replenish supplies in 5 months, what then?" Harry found the man in the crowd, looked at him with a mixture of pity and firmness, and said, "Then we all die." A murmur rose throughout the hall. People grew anxious, whispering to one another. "But I don't intend to let that happen, and neither should you," he raised his voice, nearly shouting. The noise died down. We all listened more closely to the captain, realizing that at this moment we were being addressed by the one person our very existence now depended on, not just as individuals but as a civilization. "Supplies will be distributed every morning at exactly 6 a.m. Each person will receive a ration. They are equal regardless of gender, age, or rank. There will be no privileges. All entitlements were left outside the dome. All who do not belong to the specialist structure, scientists, medics, architects, purifiers, will be assigned to technical and maintenance work." An elderly woman in the front row raised her hand nervously and asked in a trembling voice, "What about those who can't do hard labor?" "Everyone will contribute. There's work for everyone in the dome. If you can't perform physical tasks, you'll supervise the children in the daycare center while their parents work. I repeat, every morning at 6 a.m. ration distribution and roll call. At 7 a.m. daily assignments are issued. 5 p.m. the workday ends, you have free time and rest. At 9 p.m. everyone must be in their capsules. Whether you like it or not, you must follow the rules. The survival of each of you in this colony depends on it. Thank you all for your attention. Now, a few words from your medic, Mark Wilson." Harry stood up and walked toward the exit. People whispered among themselves for a moment, some expressing concern. I slowly made my way to the podium. The crowd fell silent, their eyes locked onto me. For some reason, my hand suddenly began to tremble and my voice started to fail me, but I continued. "Che-ha!" I cleared my throat. "Good evening. I'll be your chief medical officer." People began whispering again. "On your wrist, you'll find a bracelet. Under no circumstances should it be removed. It's waterproof, you can even bathe with it on." This bracelet is extremely important. It monitors your health indicators. Each one has an individual number. As soon as there are any fluctuations in your body, I'll be alerted and take action. Excuse me, what happens if someone shows changes on their bracelet? You'll be placed in the medical ward and receive all necessary care. We have all the required medications and equipment, so don't worry, everything will be fine. I believe you've received all the essential information. Thank you for your attention. You may now rest. I stepped down and left the hall. People continued talking among themselves, but slowly began to disperse. I walked through the colony's corridors, still unable to believe that any of this was real. I could never have imagined that humanity would be wiped out and that I would live to witness it. That, across the vast planet Earth, only 2 colonies would remain ours, and the colony known as Dome X. Only those directly collaborating with them are aware of its existence. For everyone else, knowledge of it is strictly forbidden. Still, people suspect it exists, some know it for certain, but all remain silent. Since the impact, communication with Dome X has been sporadic but still possible. The dome's function is to contain and study anomalous objects left in the wake of the nuclear disaster, mutated life forms, anomalous fields, disruptions in reality. They ensure the safety of both domes, have access to all of our databases, and protect the colonies from any form of intrusion. My friend Sarah works at that base. She's responsible for collecting and processing data on every resident of the dome, from standard health parameters to psychological conditions, predispositions to behavioral anomalies, and potential threats to the system. Our mutual friend Tom also works there, a linguist and scientist. He specializes in translation and analysis of various languages and helps with the development and maintenance of machine programs and technologies. The last time I spoke with Sarah was before the explosion. She was supposed to arrive at our dome to assess our readiness. No one expected the detonation to happen so soon. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to speak with Tom. Now, I'm not allowed to contact him. He has access to highly classified information. Sarah is also forbidden to speak about him. Even when submitting reports, we're not allowed to talk about anything beyond our assigned duties. Entering my capsule, I sat down on the bed and exhaled. This place feels like the only spot of comfort in the entire massive dome. It's so hard to get used to this reality, I muttered under my breath. My job monitoring the colonists runs 24/7. Any deviation from the norm triggers an alert on my monitors. Everything was quiet. I fell asleep. The morning began with the usual sound of the dome-wide alarm, a sound that irritates me every single day. Yet I have to get up. Rules are rules. I hate that sound. How I wish I could go back to my old life. I grumbled to myself, pounding my fists on the bed in frustration beneath the blanket. I got up, put on my standard medical uniform, and headed toward the main hall. They were already waiting for us with rations. We lined up in several queues, no pushing, no rushing. Everyone silently received their package and water. The line moved slowly, but we'd grown used to that. After getting my ration, I went straight to work. I walked quickly toward the medical sector. As I neared it, I could already catch the faint scent of disinfectant and ozone, a sign that the morning sterilization had been completed. The medical sector looks somewhat different from the rest of the dome, bright and spacious, divided into two sections, equipped with various devices. I entered through the doors. My colleagues were already at their workstations. On the right, microscopes, disinfectants, various capsules and centrifuges, refrigeration units, and a multitude of lab equipment. Some of my colleagues are producing new antibiotics, others are developing vaccines to fight mutated viruses and bacteria ones that may emerge beyond the dome, or even inside it. Good morning, colleagues, I greeted them. Morning to you too. You're running a little late today. For some reason, my legs didn't feel like carrying me here. Get to work. We don't have much of a choice around here, he replied with a smile. My workstation is to the left, a bit deeper into the room. I, along with my fellow medics, treat colonists, perform surgeries, and conduct examinations. Our side of the facility is equipped with cord, RI, and ultrasound machines, along with patient couches. Morning, everyone, I called out as I reached my desk. Good morning. Some test results from the colonists have already arrived. You can check them on your terminal. Thank you. I'll take a look right now. Every day is the same tests, filling out forms, conversations with colonists, prescribing medication, arguably the most important task because our supply is limited and only dispensed when absolutely necessary. But today was different. Without warning, a familiar scientist, Robert, came to see me. The moment I saw him, I was alarmed. He's usually composed and balanced, but now he looked pale and shaken. Hey, are you busy? He asked in a trembling voice. Hey, no, come in and sit down. What's going on? Mutated animals are getting dangerously close to the dome more and more often. Mutated? What kind of mutations? Don't scare me, Robert. We've counted several dozen already. Deer with 3 eyes, some fawns had 6 pairs of hooves. But what really shook me today, a herd of wild 2-headed boars approached the dome. They started ramming their heads against it. What are we going to do? Do you have any ideas? I don't know. That's why I came to you. I'm scared we might start seeing humans with similar symptoms. They won't get inside the dome, that's for sure. You don't need to worry about that. Here's what we'll do, I said, then paused for a few seconds. Write a report, I'll bring it to the captain and send a copy to Domex. They'll know what to do. Thank you, he nodded, standing up. I hope we get this under control quickly, he added, heading for the door. It's going to be fine, but don't share this information for now. We don't need unnecessary panic. Robert nodded and left. I was left alone, wondering what to do next. I stared at the monitor as its screen dimmed, then made a note in my journal. I must contact Domex, I muttered to myself while writing. A few minutes later, a horn sounded the signal that it was time for rest. Everyone was expected to return to their capsules. I was luckier than most. I had my own small space, small but private, just me and the monitors that track body temperature, breathing, emotional state, and even dreams of other people. I walked slowly to my capsule, hoping to fall asleep quickly and that the monitors would stay silent all night. Entering my new home, I checked once again to make sure all the sensors were stable, then lay down to sleep. Sleep took me so quickly it felt as if someone had just switched me off. I never thought I could fall asleep that deeply. The next day began as usual. We received our ration packs, listened to the council, and everyone went off to their assigned duties, just like always, but not for me. I had a different task today. Sitting at a desk, his back to the camera, he's reviewing a report on the computer. Robert had written his report on the anomalous animals clear and professional. I reviewed the document on my terminal. My task was to deliver it to Captain Harry. The thought alone made my chest tighten. The idea of stepping into his capsule made me nervous. He's more machine than man, stern and intimidating, with a gaze that pierces straight through you. Maybe these creatures are nothing serious, I murmured while reading the report. There was no more time for reflection. I set out for the captain's office, walking through the narrow corridors leading to the command section. The corridor was silent. It felt like even the air filters feared him, and the dim lighting only made things more unsettling. Stopping in front of the door, I took a deep breath. There was no other choice. Protocol had to be followed. It would be worse if I didn't report it, and there was cause for concern. I held my bracelet up to the door. With a soft hiss, it opened. I stepped into Captain Harry's office. He was staring at a monitor, not even glancing at me. Several seconds passed in silence before he finally addressed me. I hope this is serious. Everyone's been barging in today with nonsense. Sorry, sir. Yes, I believe this is serious. Well then, don't just stand there, sit down. Thank you, I said, sitting in a chair across from him. We've had sightings of mutated animals. Their behavior is concerning. Do you have a report? Yes, of course. Here's the flash drive. The report was prepared by Robert from the science department. He's the one who noticed the strange creatures. Let's take a look, he muttered to himself. For several minutes, the captain studied the report carefully. His expression was stone cold, his eyes scanning the monitor. From time to time, his brows furrowed. What can I say? Good job bringing this to me. Something like this cannot be ignored. Send the report to Domex. They'll know what to do. Understood. I'll take care of it right away. May I be dismissed? Of course. You're free to go. Thank you, I said, heading for the door. Returning to my workstation, I immediately sent the report to Domex. The rest of the day passed quickly. I didn't even notice when the signal sounded to head to rest. I As soon as I entered my capsule, I didn't even have time to change when a call came through from Dome X. It was from my best friend, Sarah, and how painful it is that neither of us is allowed to speak like ordinary people anymore. Only business, only duty. Still, I gathered the courage to answer the call. Dr. Mark Wilson speaking. This is Dome X. We've thoroughly reviewed your report. We'll dispatch our drones to survey the area and identify any anomalous creatures. Thank you. How dangerous is this? There's absolutely no reason for concern. It's completely normal for animals that found shelter after the blast to survive, though they've been exposed to high levels of radiation. Do you think if mutated animals exist, people might exist too? I believe everything will be fine. Don't worry, she said after a long pause. Thank you for informing us. Stay safe. You too. And she hung up. I kept thinking about her, recalling the life we once lived. How we'd walk together, savoring every moment, and now we're trapped in separate domes. Just as I lay down in bed and felt myself drifting into sleep, one of the sensors on a colonist's wristband went off. A signal appeared on my monitor something was wrong. I shot up from bed, rushed to my computer, and began analyzing the alert. Strangely, the wristband was detecting activity in deep sleep. How is that even possible? I whispered to myself. The deep sleep phase is impossible here, inside the dome, and yet the sound I heard wasn't just noise, it was more like words. Strange, I murmured. I sat staring into the monitor, waiting for it to happen again. But nothing, no more changes. That definitely wasn't a glitch, I muttered. I returned to bed, but sleep wouldn't come easily. I'll find him tomorrow, the last words I mumbled before drifting off. The next morning began as usual, with that same loud sound. I barely opened my eyes and got up from bed. For the first time, I didn't want to go anywhere, but I had no choice. If I skipped duty, I'd go without food and water, and I'd definitely receive a formal reprimand. Dragging myself through the familiar corridors toward the main hall, everything around me felt unchanged. The same walls, the same pipes, nothing ever changes here. I entered the hall as one of the last, but I still managed to get my ration. Today, Captain Harry informed everyone that anomalous animals do in fact exist. Anomalous animals exist. This has become the norm in our difficult times. At present, there is no threat neither to us nor to the dome. Everything is under control. We must remain calm, and we must accept that this will continue. Not everything was burned to ash. Radiation is spreading. Those who survived will suffer. What guarantees do we have that this truly poses no danger? What guarantees are you expecting? We've conducted an investigation. There is no danger. You may return to your workstations. Thank you for your service. But I hadn't forgotten about the bracelet, what the sensor showed me. In all the time we've lived under this dome, nothing like that had ever occurred before. At first, I thought it was just a glitch, a result of a power surge. I need to find him, I murmured to myself as I set off to locate that colonist. But first, I headed to my capsule to double-check everything, retrieve the bracelet number, and identify who it belonged to. I sat down at my desk, turned on the computer. I don't know why, but my palms were sweaty. Strange thoughts raced through my mind. What if he's anomalous too? I whispered. No way. I tried to shake off the bad thoughts as the system loaded. I entered my password and found the nightly surveillance protocol, opened the tab I needed, and there it was, the information I'd been looking for. Bracelet at 743 Mile 1A. Time of anomalous disturbance 1:14 M42. Signal type unknown. Sleep phase deep. Pulse pattern elevated. I copied the bracelet data and began searching the resident database. It took a while. There are plenty of people living here. Who are you? 743-1A. And what are you hiding from us? I murmured. While the system searched for the owner, I felt more nervous than I had on my first date. Chills ran down my back, and a heavy sense of unease settled in my chest. Name Max Smith. Residence sector male, block 17. Position air purification technician. Notes none. Max hadn't broken any rules, no warnings on record, but I had to get to the bottom of this because if he had made contact outside the dome without us knowing, then we had a massive problem on our hands. I ran down the corridors toward the air purification sector. Steel walls lit by dim lights, the hum of ventilation fans above my head, all of it merged into a single echoing tunnel. Finally, the door. I leaned against the wall, bent over, gasping for air. My mouth was dry, and my heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I tried to breathe deeply. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Calm down, Mark. Get a grip. I panted, trying to steady my voice and calm myself down. I pressed the bracelet against the scanner, and with a soft hiss, the door slowly opened. The moment I stepped inside, everyone stopped working and turned their gaze toward me. Some started whispering, others exchanged glances. I addressed the person closest to me and began to speak. Good afternoon. I need Max Smith. Could you tell me where he is? The room fell silent. Everyone looked at each other. That's me. What's going on? He said with a nervous voice. Nothing serious. I just need you to come with me. Sure thing. They slowly started walking toward me. We stepped out of the unit, and the doors closed behind us. I'd like to run a quick check on you. Would you mind coming with me to the medical sector? No problem. Is it something serious? I hope not. We'll sort it out there. Seated at my desk, I explained why he was here. I recorded some unusual activity during your sleep. What kind of activity? What happened? The sensors showed you entered a deep sleep phase. But that's not possible, he muttered. That's exactly why you're here. I began asking Max a series of questions, trying to understand what could have caused it. Are you experiencing anything unusual physically or mentally? No, everything feels normal. Having trouble falling asleep? Or maybe the opposite? Lately I've been really exhausted. My partner broke his arm and he's here with you. They gave me his responsibilities in the meantime, so yeah, I fall asleep pretty fast. Let's run some tests then. If necessary, of course. I ran him through every scanner, took multiple tests, everything came back normal, no abnormalities. You're all clear, you can go back to work. But if you feel anything out of the ordinary, please let me know immediately. Even after all the tests and research, something gnawed at me. I knew things like this couldn't be ignored, so a little hesitant, I decided to inform Captain Harry, hoping that he, as always, would explain everything with a logical reason. I hoped he'd calm me down so I could get back to work without this weight on my chest. All the way there, I thought about how to present this to him. We're strictly forbidden from disturbing him over trivial things. But this isn't trivial, this could be a disaster, I murmured to myself. There it was, the door to his office. As always, I hesitated for a moment, took a deep breath and pressed my bracelet to the scanner. The door opened slowly with its usual hiss, and I stepped inside. Good afternoon, Captain. Apologies for disturbing you again, but something's happened I'm not even sure how to You got a report? Of course here. I quickly stepped toward his desk and handed him the flash drive. Sit down. Don't just hover over me. I sat down and nervously fidgeted with my sweaty fingers. After a few minutes, he finally looked up at me. I didn't like the expression on his face at all. This is no longer a joke, he said with a troubled voice. For the third night now, I keep having the same nightmare. What exactly do you dream about, Captain? I can't make out what it is. But it repeats every time the same thing. What does it sound like? Sounds or maybe a language, something like that. That's the same as in Max's dream. I think we need to figure this out as soon as possible. I don't believe in mysticism, Mark, but what's happening goes beyond the usual. Either it's changes in us and the dome or in reality itself. Captain, do you think these dreams are contagious or infectious? I don't know, but our task, yours and mine, is to get to the bottom of this quickly. For now, don't spread this information publicly. We'll keep monitoring. May I be dismissed? Yes, go ahead. Let me know if it happens again, I added as I left the room. You do the same if this happens to anyone else. Several months later. Several months passed, no new manifestations, neither in dreams nor in waking consciousness. The dome continued its usual routine, everything monotonous and on schedule. And to be honest, I allowed myself to forget about those dreams and the fact that something could go wrong. The dome functioned, supplies were replenished, everything was going according to plan. Maybe we really exaggerated. Maybe it was just glitches, stress, that drastically changed reality, the confined space. Everyone started a new life, and so people's nervous systems malfunctioned. Max told someone in the dome about our conversation. I don't know why he did it, fear, confusion, or simply couldn't keep it to himself. I don't know, but rumors spread quickly here. The news spread like a virus, and everyone panicked. But Captain Harry handled it quickly. He gathered everyone in the main hall, stepped in front of the colonists, calm, collected, confident. His voice was even, a bit dry, as always. Everything is under control. These were just minor system glitches. We're already working on fixing them. And everyone believed him. Even I believed it for a second. Everyone dispersed and I also headed back to my capsule. As usual, I checked everything. All sensors stable, everything under control. I laid down and fell asleep. Woke up in a cold sweat from sound signaling something was wrong again. Damn, not again, I muttered and quickly jumped out of bed. Someone's sensor was blinking again. This can't be happening, I muttered. With trembling fingers, I hammered the computer keyboard trying. This is nonsense. I quickly accessed the dome's database to check if I got the bracelet number wrong. My hands trembled, heart pounding in my temples, and the database took forever to load. Name Mark Wilson. Living Sector Private, Block 0. Position Chief Medical Officer. Notes none. I almost fainted from what I saw. I reloaded the database several times to check for errors, but no, I knew my bracelet number by heart. I don't remember anything, I muttered to myself. I leaned my elbows on the table and supported my head with my hands. What it do, I whispered endlessly. I went to lie down hoping to fall asleep, but sleep wouldn't come. I feared it was some kind of virus and how it would affect us further, but with Captain Harry and Max everything seemed fine. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, I whispered. I turned to my side and finally fell asleep. As soon as the wake-up signal sounded, I ran to get my ration. After grabbing it, I dashed with all my might to Captain Harry's office. Without waiting for the capsule door to fully open, I slipped into a small gap. "Captain Harry, we have huge problems," I shouted, out of breath. "All right, catch your breath and tell me what happened." "The dreams, they've returned." "What?" "Yes, again, but what, Mark?" "Who is having the dreams?" "Me," I muttered, lowering my head. "How did it happen?" "I was sleeping, then woke up because of the sensor signal. I jumped out of bed and saw my bracelet number on the monitor." "Captain, what are we going to do?" "The main thing is, don't panic. Everything will be fine. Maybe it happened once again and that's it." "What if not? What if it's some kind of epidemic?" "Don't talk nonsense. If it were an epidemic, back then everyone in the capsule would have been infected." But I saw a barely noticeable hint of hesitation in his eyes. He was trying to believe what he was saying. I rushed to my capsule. The door has closed behind me. I rushed to the computer, my fingers automatically finding the needed commands. I checked all system sleep sensors, neural impulses, graphs, biorhythms. Everything looked stable. "Mark 126. I stood up from the desk, fell onto the bed, and just stared at the ceiling. To be honest, I was a bit afraid to sleep, because if I fell asleep, it might happen again. My eyes slowly closed. I tried to control it, tried not to give in, forcibly opened them. But sleep won. I fell asleep. But unfortunately, not for long. A sensor signal from one of the colonists woke me up. "What the hell?" I shouted nervously. I jumped out of bed and ran to the monitors. Again, the same thing, deep sleep phase and strange sounds like birds. "Okay, let's take a look." I opened the sleep recordings of Max and myself and decided to compare them with the sounds from this colonist's sleep. Mark 12E. The clock showed 3:01 am. I thought about how to survive until morning to tell Captain Harry. But how I explained? Sensors one after another started showing the same data. I didn't sleep the whole night. Every hour someone was dreaming, the sensors went off. How is this even possible? Or maybe I'm going crazy, I muttered. Finally, the wake-up signal. I quickly dressed by inertia, straightened myself, and rushed for my ration. Within a few minutes, I was in the command sector. I ran so fast I didn't notice one colonist and knocked him down. "Careful, where are you rushing?" he murmured nervously as he got up. "Sorry, didn't notice." I offered my hand to help him up. "Oh, good day. I was just heading to you. I need help." "I'm in a hurry. What's your name? I'll find you later." "I'm Thomas White." "Thomas, I'll find you." "Sorry, I really don't have time now." "Just don't forget, it's very important." I had no time for anyone right now. I was rushing. It seemed to me the fate of the entire colony depended on me, because if it's a virus, chaos will start soon. Finally, the door was in front of me. I brought my bracelet close and entered the office. "Oh God, I already see you, Mark, and I feel sick." There were 7 incidents overnight. 7 different colonists entered the deep sleep phase and heard the same thing. "Call Dome X immediately. Prepare a report. And call the experts. Have them fly out." "Understood. I'm running." I turned and ran out without waiting. I didn't feel the ground beneath my feet. Inside, fear was boiling, and for the first time in a long while, a real premonition of disaster. I ran went to my room. I had no desire to go to the workplace because I would have to explain what's happening to colleagues. I didn't want to answer extra questions and those random glances sitting like a target. But in my capsule it was safer. No extra ears here. The door locked tightly behind me, a lone silence and thoughts. What to do? I whispered endlessly. I sat down at the monitors. Thoughts fluttered in my head like moths around a lamp. I was used to everything being under control in the dome, and now not knowing what's happening scared me. I gathered my thoughts and started writing the report. In an hour, it was fully ready, clear. I described in detail everything that happened, the captain's dreams, Max's dreams, my own dreams, and the 7 other colonists. I dialed Dome X. Dome X, good day. Hello, this is Dome V speaking, Chief Medical Officer Mark Wilson. I want to speak with Sarah Davis. Dome X, please wait. Connecting. While the phone was ringing, 1,000 thoughts ran through my head. Time dragged like eternity. Sarah Davis speaking. Good day, Sarah. I sent you a report. Please review it. We have problems. One moment. Opening the report. After a few minutes of silence while she read the report, my heart started pounding out of my chest. Maybe because I hadn't heard from my best friend for a long time, or maybe because I was afraid to hear bad news about our situation in the dome, but I was barely managing my emotions. Yes, the situation is serious. What should we do? Does this happen only at night? Yes, only when the person reaches the deep sleep phase. But that's impossible. Yes, impossible. You're right. But it happens, and only then colonists hear those sounds. Does anyone remember what happens in that dream? We haven't yet checked the new colonists who saw those dreams. But previously, no one remembered the dreams except Captain Harry. He remembers hearing strange sounds. Those dreams were like nightmares for him. We will send experts to you. Your task is to collect data on every colonist who saw the dreams. We will need to conduct interrogations to gather information. Thank you. Expect us. Without waiting, I went into the database and began making a list of everyone who saw the dreams. Bracelet after bracelet, I checked and wrote down each one. On my screen, data about one of those colonists appeared. Name Thomas White. Living sector male, Block 7. Position technical worker. Notes none. A very familiar name, I muttered. I leaned back in the chair, closed my eyes, and began trying to remember who this could be. I thought until suddenly, I remembered that in the command sector corridor, I had knocked down a young man. Exactly, he asked me to find him. Entering the technical core, I began looking around, and every person I tried to find the same Thomas. But within a few minutes, he ran up to me himself. You came. I was already thinking you forgot about me. No, I didn't forget, sorry. I was very busy. What's going on with you? Let's not talk here. Let's go to my place. I invited Thomas to sit at my desk. I already knew what he wanted to tell me. but I decided not to rush and to listen carefully to what exactly he would decide to say. I was curious whether he would tell me himself or hide the information. Thomas 174. Go on, I'm listening carefully. I don't even know how to tell this, and will you believe me? I will believe everything you say, don't worry. I had a dream. I fell asleep as usual, then suddenly I heard strange sounds, some unknown language to me. What's happening to me? He said in an anxious voice. Don't worry, everything will be fine. We'll figure it out. Experts will arrive soon, then we'll decide what to do about this. The day the experts from Dome X arrived, a loud horn passes over the dome. Through the glass structure, a small black aircraft bearing Dome X logo can be seen landing. The conditions outside the dome are harsh. Nuclear dust still lingers. They're all wearing gray protective suits, their faces completely obscured by special masks. They move confidently, back straight, approaching the dome step by step. At the dome's entrance, there is a special decontamination and disinfection chamber, which every person entering must go through. The process lasts at least 15 minutes. I went through it too. Even before the nuclear blast, everything inside the dome is sterile. Commander Harry and I came out to greet the experts. Those 15 minutes of decontamination felt like an eternity. My palms were sweating, cold sweat trickled down my back, and my heart pounded wildly like a drum, judging by the look on the captain's face. The dome, central chamber, a meeting of experts, Captain Harry and Mark with their backs to the camera. In front of them are Sarah and Tom. When the dome doors opened, I couldn't believe my eyes. My friends Sarah and Tom stepped inside. Overwhelming joy filled me, but I tried not to show it. I didn't know if I should, but perhaps it was already obvious by the look in my eyes just as it was in theirs. We silently headed to the command sector, to Captain Harry's office. He walked ahead, and we followed behind. Sarah, almost imperceptibly, as if by accident, gently took my hand for a moment. She smiled faintly, then let go immediately. Tom simply nodded. He didn't say a word, but it was enough. And in that moment, their presence warmed my soul. The fact that these people remain my closest friends even now, even under these conditions. I couldn't take my eyes off them as we walked. It was hard to hold back a smile. I couldn't believe they were really here, real. And for the first time, this corridor didn't seem frightening. On the contrary, I wished it would never end. I wanted this moment to last as long as possible. We approached the door to Captain Harry's office. He stopped, held out his bracelet, and the door began to open automatically. Please come in, he said without turning to face us. His voice was focused and slightly tense. We silently crossed the threshold of the office. The atmosphere was stifling. The air felt heavy, even though it had been filtered several times. It didn't help there still wasn't enough oxygen or clarity to understand what was going on. The captain sat at his desk. We sat across from him, and nervously interlocked my sweaty fingers to hide the trembling in my hands. Harry was the first to speak. So, you've all seen the report provided by Mark. What are your thoughts on what we're dealing with? I can confidently say it's not our frequency and not our doing. Dome X has no idea what this could be, but we will definitely help you figure it out. I'd like to review each recording in more detail to determine whether they're truly identical or if there are any discrepancies. And I'd like to speak with each colonist who sensor registered anomalies and conduct a full health assessment. I also want to ask, have you checked the ventilation shafts? Perhaps outside air is seeping into the dome, contaminating it? All readings remain consistent with those recorded when the dome was first sealed. No changes have been detected. If ventilation is stable, then the cause must be internal. These anomalies might be tied to the colonists' mental health or even a new disease developing inside your dome. I'll analyze all dream and internal monitoring recordings. Maybe we'll find a pattern or a clue to deciphering the signal. I'd like to be given a quiet and isolated workspace. Of course, each of you will be assigned a separate capsule for sleeping and working. Don't worry. Mark will take care of it. I'll make the necessary arrangements as soon as possible. So Mark, you'll organize personal space for the guests from Dome X. Sarah, your task is to examine the colonists. Tom, try to decode those signals as quickly as possible, he said sternly as he rose from his chair. If you need me, you may come at any time. Mark, if you don't mind, show our new friends around the dome and go over the daily schedule. Absolutely, I replied as I exited the office. We walked silently to my capsule. Only after the door sealed shut did we finally feel like we could be ourselves. I don't understand. Harry is trying not to show it, but he's deeply shaken. Yes, because he had the dreams too, and so did I added in a near whisper. And Tom exchanged glances. They were visibly worried. How are you feeling? I don't remember anything. If it weren't for the sensors, I'd have never known I saw the same thing as the others. I'd like to know how you two are. What's life like in Dome X? We're doing fine, but our dome is very strict. There's not much free time. Every step is monitored. You can't even have a proper heart-to-heart conversation. It's tough, of course, but we've grown used to it. Here's the placement plan. Sarah, your room is in the medical block, right next to the analytics department. Everything you need for examinations is there. You've been assigned a capsule in the observation sector. It's isolated and connected to the data archive. You'll have a comfortable workspace. Perfect. Then I'd like to start working immediately. We need to finish this as soon as possible. Mark, I'll go set up. You gather everyone in the medical block whose sensors trigger. I want to check everything. Should we also call Captain Harry? Not yet. We'll handle the others first, then you and the captain last. I caught the colonists. There were 8 whose systems had shown anomalies. One by one, they entered the medical sector. They were tense and a bit frightened. I tried to reassure each of them, promising everything would be okay. Some even attempted to joke. The others, however, barely heard me, standing anxious, fidgeting with their fingers. Sarah went fighting. She conducted analyses and tests X quickly and without words, and she wrote continually in her notebook. No unnecessary emotion crossed her face, but I saw that she noticed everything, every nervous twitch, every gaze cast down, every pause in their voice. She wasn't just recording physiological data, she was reading these people like an open book, trying to understand what was happening. She asked clear questions and when the examination ended, she closed her notebook and called me over. All of them have elevated anxiety levels. Well, that's normal. They felt like they were being interrogated. People get nervous, it's natural. Yes, I understand that, but I didn't notice any other changes, and that's what's concerning. Our hope is Tom, I shrugged. Let's go to him then. Maybe he has something for us. We headed to his capsule. The doors hissed open. Inside, the light was dim and there was utter silence, occasionally broken by the tapping of keyboards. Tom sat slightly hunched, wearing headphones in front of 3 monitors displaying changing graphs and charts. He didn't notice us entering. Sarah and I exchanged glances and walked over. I placed my hand on his shoulder. He startled. Tom? Sorry, I didn't hear you come in. He looked exhausted, red eyes, pale complexion, disheveled hair. He hadn't slept for days, though only a few hours had passed. We've examined 8 colonists. We've found nothing critical, just elevated anxiety, though that's not surprising. Let's hope you have something more substantial? Oh yes, I have something more interesting, he said with a smile. Look, I'll show you something. We sat down around Tom, waiting to see the truth. I layered the sounds from all 8 dreams on top of each other. They're identical dreams. Everyone woke up at exactly the same moment, plus or minus a few seconds, with no external stimuli. Like they were programmed, I whispered. Exactly, he agreed. I may be wrong, but it feels like someone has somehow been able to hack into their brains. And into yours too, she said almost in a whisper, fear in her voice as she looked at me. I felt a chill run down my spine. Sarah also turned pale. For a few seconds, we all remained silent, as if trying to process the information, especially me. Are you okay? She laid a hand on my shoulder. Knowing someone can enter your consciousness without permission, it's unnerving. I've also tried to decipher what the sounds actually are. I'm almost 100 sure it's language, but which one? How do you plan to figure it out? I don't know yet, but I'll get to the bottom of it. Just give me a little time. Do you have the report? Yes, of course. We'll go take it to the captain for now. And you'll have time to sort things on your end too, she said as we headed for the door. Okay. We walked quickly, step by step, the air filters humming around us. Sarah walked beside me, her voice soft as she tried to reassure me just like she used to. Don't worry, we'll figure this out. These are just our initial hypotheses. It's okay, don't worry, I'm fine. But I lied. I was far from fine. Those stupid thoughts wouldn't leave me. I'm afraid I might hurt someone or infect my friends or another colonist. In front of us were the captain's doors. They slid open and I entered first, confidently. Sarah followed. I realized how often I'd been here. I was no longer afraid of this place. My hands no longer trembled or sweated like before. Captain Harry, not looking away from the monitor, spoke. Any updates? Yes, please review these 2 reports. They're the results of our analyses. But we won't wait for you to finish reviewing them. We'll head back. Maybe Tom has more updates for us. We turned and headed back to Tom's capsule. Tom remained seated, focused at the computer. Approached him, placing her hands on his shoulders. Any news? Yes, there is, but it may sound strange. We're listening. Nothing could surprise us anymore. I converted the signal into the spectral domain, and I got this. On the screen appears text on 11 on 1,857 minus 43 on 45,839. I've tried everything, ancient languages, algorithms. I even tried translating into various modern languages, hoping to find some clue, but no luck. But what I discovered afterward will definitely surprise you. Speak, don't hold back. Most of it appears to be coordinates of something. How are you going to figure out what exactly? Sit down. Let's check now. I've been waiting. Wanted to do this together. Tom opened a navigation display, typed quickly, checked. Symbols flickered and lines changed at lightning speed. He was entering search queries, comparing coordinates. So fast I couldn't even read what was on screen. He was fully immersed. If on is the signature, then he murmured, deeply engrossed. We wanted to ask what he was doing, yet we were afraid to breathe, lest we break his concentration. Sarah, seated beside me, hardly blinked. Then the unreal silence was broken by the sound of the capsule door opening. Captain Harry stepped in. What's going on here? I can't wait any longer, he asked, approaching. Sure, I put a finger to my lips. The captain walked over and silently watched what unfolded. On the screen appeared some kind of brute. We all exchanged glances. Only Tom didn't take his eyes off the screen. We all stopped breathing, and unreal silence hung in the capsule. There, that's it, he exclaimed loudly, and we all jumped. What is it? He asked, surprised. Tom was silent. He looked at the screen for a few more seconds, then took a deep breath. The program has plotted a route to the coordinates. It lies outside the dome. Then we must go immediately, she exclaimed, standing up. Yes, we leave now. No waiting. He grabbed a tablet and rose. I'm coming with you, I announced. No, you won't go. Leaving the perimeter of Dome V is strictly prohibited, so we stay. The captain's right. We must follow protocol. They gathered their gear. The captain ordered rations issued. They donned protective suits and headed toward the exit. We followed behind the captain. Don't worry, we'll stay in radio contact. Everything will be under control, she said, turning to me. What if something goes wrong? Reinforcements will come. Stay in touch, be safe. You have only 1 day of supplies. If we don't regain contact by then, reinforcements will be sent. The airlock door slid open with a heavy hiss as soon as Sarah and Tom stepped across the threshold. Minutes later, their small recon helicopter rose into the sky on the horizon. Black as a shadow, it ascended, its fuselage bearing a white X logo. I watched them silently until they disappeared beyond the horizon. Now we wait, he said, then left. I couldn't shake the anxiety. It coursed through every cell of my body. I paced back and forth across the central hall, unable to settle. A premonition of disaster gripped me, though I tried to push it away. Screen fades to black. Eye-opening animation. I woke up even before the signal. I checked all the colonists' sensors. Everything was normal. Strange, I whispered. The wake-up alarm sounded. I went for my ration. On the way, I ran into Captain Harry. We exchanged a few words, then headed to our stations. Work distracted me. I forgot for a moment, that outside the dome were people who might never return. The workload was overwhelming. I needed to process countless prescriptions for signature, fill forms for dispensed tablets, enter data into the database Science Dam archive. I had a lot to do. How can I get it all done? I muttered. I focused on work. All that could be heard was the rustle of paper and typing on the keyboard. Then the radio crackled. I jumped. My heart pounded. Dome, this is V over. Seconds of static on the radio drove me crazy. We found it. Her voice came through, fragmented. Static, then silence again. My palms sweated. The balance I'd only recently regained was gone again. Then the radio. Over, I said in a trembling voice. We're coming back, she added. The radio fell silent. Several hours later, Tom and Sarah returned to the dome. I'd been waiting for them in Tom's capsule. Those were the longest hours of my life. I paced from wall to wall, unable to find a place to rest. I sat, stood, lay down, but couldn't find a spot. Suddenly, the familiar electronic hiss of airlock doors, a soft hiss of air. They stepped into the capsule. Their faces were exhausted, eyes deep and shaded. Their movements were slowed. They collapsed onto the bed. Finally, he sighed heavily. Not just a day, it felt like an eternity. Completely agreed. It's the longest day I can remember, I said with a smile. No sooner had they rested than Captain Harry practically stormed into the capsule. What do you have for me? Let's go fast. I don't have time to wait. They struggled to sit up. Tom slowly pulled a hard drive from his back. You'll never believe what's in this little box, he said with a grin. Don't drag it out, please. He connected it to the computer, tinkered for a while, and then the moment of truth. Are you ready? Are you even asking? From the first screen, we're ready. Tom pressed play. The monitor screen displayed an animation of a face speaking. Voice recording. If you are listening to this, it means my plan worked. I am one of the engineers who designed the dome's ventilation system. We were ordered to build it simply, but I added something of my own vents unrecorded on any blueprints. Sensors were programmed to trigger at the right time, releasing a gas that induces sleep, during which you would receive coordinates that could help you survive. I couldn't trust anyone. Every face was a mask, every word a test. The authorities decided to destroy humanity, leaving only the chosen locked inside the dome, enslaved by the system. And you are those chosen. But I hope that thanks to my plan and your courage, life will exist beyond the dome. Your plans will crumble. You must find Module E, located directly beneath the dome's roof. It's not marked on any plan. It exists only in my mind, and I will reveal it to you. Here are the coordinates: 57, 585, 485, 974. There you'll find everything you need: DNA samples of extinct creatures, seeds the memory of humanity. But be cautious. Not everyone in Dome X can be trusted. Among them are those complicit in the destruction of all life. If they discover this, they will do everything to destroy you too. I knew too much. That's why I no longer exist. There was no place for me under any dome. But my life was worth hundreds those whom I can still save with your help. You are the continuation. You are humanity's hope. You are the new chapter after the end. The camera slowly rises and follows the ventilation shaft up to Module E, where a large metal container stamped Top Secret awaits. The end.